lost both my parents on October 7th and many of my childhood friends. I was born and raised just a mile away from Gaza, that Judaism is superior to other religion, and that Israelis are superiors to Palestinians. Many people thought I'm a Mossad agent, I'm an intelligent agent, I'm Shin Bet, and many other things that more criminal that I won't mention here in your show. I think few months after I was listening to a Hamza Awoude, a Palestinian peacemaker who said that he's willing to forgive about the past, he's willing to forgive about the present, but he won't and cannot forgive about the future. I saw the Israeli government accountable as the state, accountable for the security and safety of my parents and my friends. For our talk with Pope Francis, they ask us, is peace possible? And then afterward, they say, we are with you, we'll support you, peace is possible.
Hello and welcome to the Muslim Viewpoint, a new video podcast series powered by the nonprofit national media platform American Muslim Today. I'm your host, Maya Gayler. Today I spoke to Maoz Inon, an Israeli entrepreneur and peace activist known for fostering understanding between Israelis and Palestinians. Inon's work lies in tourism and encouraging cross-cultural dialogue. His connection to the Israel-Palestine conflict is personal. His parents were tragically killed during Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7th. Despite this significant loss, Inon has been vocal about his opposition of Israel's military actions in Gaza and advocates for dialogue and security for both Israelis and Palestinians. Thank you for joining us today, Maoz. So, in a previous interview with Al Jazeera, you describe how what we are seeing is not Judaism or Zionism, but a mutation. So, can you tell us more about this and how you believe this mutation comes into play in the current conflict?
I will start by saying that I lost both my parents on October 7th and many of my childhood friends. I was born and raised just a mile away from Gaza. And then when I was 14, I moved to even a closer community to the Gaza border, just 200 meters from the border, where my parents were murdered. They were among the first victims of the Hamas attack. I was born and raised in Israel. My grandparents were Zionist pioneers, immigrating to Israel in the 30s of last century, feeling the earth start shaking underneath them with the rise of the Nazi regime in Germany. So they immigrate as Zionist pioneers to Palestine under the British mandate, and they co-founded two communities, two kibbutzes in the Negev, one in 1943 and one in 1944. So both my parents were born in those communities. And so my background, my ancestors weren't just in the Zionist movement. I'm saying they were the movement. They were the pioneers that really built what they thought will be a secure and safe homeland for the Jewish people. This is what Zionism used to be. And what is happening nowadays is that extremists, Messianic extremists, using Judaism as a tool to gain more power. They're using Judaism to exercise racist supremacy. That Jews, they are acting by a false narrative that Judaism is superior to other religion and that Israelis are superiors to Palestinians. And this is not Judaism. This is not Zionism. Yes, there were many. There is a conflict, a bloody, bloodshed conflict between Israel and Palestine. But what is happening now? It's not about territory. It's not about safety. It's not about security. It's about ethnical cleansing of the Palestinian from the land. So this is what's happening now, and this is what. So I hope I answer your question. It was a long answer, and also include introduction about myself and my background. So it's not. I'm not someone a Jew that lives abroad in the diaspora. I was born, raised in Israel, and I want to keep living here, a long and in friendship and neighboring with my Palestinians brothers and sisters.
Right. No, we appreciate your insight. So you have accused the Israeli government of failing in its duty to protect its citizens and have claimed that the war on Gaza serves the prime minister's interest rather than those of the Israeli people, who are calling for the resignation of Netanyahu and his government. So, what do you believe were the biggest mistakes made by Israeli leadership before and after the October 7th attack?
The biggest mistake was that we always, as a nation, prepared for the next war. And when what you are resourcing yourself is preparation to the next war, this is what's happening. When you saw destruction, bombs, and walls, you harvest bloodshed. And we never reconciled with the Palestinian people. We never tried to reconcile. And our biggest mistakes, and the mistake of my grandparents, was that they falsely educated or raised us, the second and third generation, after the independence of the state of Israel, under a false narrative that we, the Jewish people, were people with no land who came to a land with no people. If you, I will need in one sentence to summarize what the Zionist movement was based upon. This is the narrative. This is the justification for the establishment of Israel, which of course is a false narrative. In 1948, between the river to the sea, the Jordan River and Mediterranean Sea, there were 1.4 million Palestinians and 600,000 Jews. So it was nearly 3 times more Palestinian than Jewish, and that's the day before, or the day the British mandate ended. And we won the wars. Israel always win wars. We have a strong army. We have a strong allies that keep supplying us with weapon, and we always win the wars. But we don't know how to win peace. And peace is the only way to achieve security and safety. Is the only way to stop living on our sword in a never-ending war when we always need to sacrifice our loved one and creating a huge distraction for our enemies. And this is the biggest mistake of Israeli leadership and the Zionist movement.
So, as someone born and raised in Israel, you helped co found the Abraham Hostels, which is a cultural tourism chain in Israel known for promoting dialogue about sensitive issues in the region and unifying people across faiths. How do you believe cultural tourism contributes to unity and understanding?
Thank you, Maya. That's a really great question, and I thanks you. I'm thankful for it. At the age of 30, it was 2005, 20 years ago, I was already traveling twice around the world, visiting places like New Zealand, Australia, Asia, the US, and South America. And I learned so much about indigenous communities, the Maori, the Aborigines, the Sharpa, the indigenous community in South America. And I fell in love, okay? And I felt I was engaging with people from all over the world, learning about their culture, their heritage, their lifestyle. But I didn't know the difference between Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, and Ramadan. I didn't know where Jesus was born, where Jesus is buried, and never heard about the Annunciation. I was living all my life for 30 years. I was living within walls, physical and mental walls of ignorance. And I realized that when there is ignorance, there is fear. Where there is fear, there is hate. And when there is hate, we can do horrible, horrible things to each other. And I saw how tourism can bridge, how tourism can create a venue and an atmosphere that is encouraging dialogue, that is encouraging knowledge sharing, that is creating a shared vision for the communities on the ground and the tourists that are coming from far away. And I said, let's use this tool to open a gate within the walls I was living within. And when we are talking about those walls and also giving some facts and numbers, nowadays, it's now April 2025. There are about 14 million people living between the Jordan River and Mediterranean Sea. 14 million. Half of them are Palestinians, half of them are Jewish Israelis. No one, but there is a disclaimer, maybe we'll have time to talk about it. No one will go on his free will to nowhere. So it means we must learn how to live with each other. And tourism can create this space where we meet each other, when we dialogue, where we interact. And what I was preaching mostly in the last few years is that the first step in reaching a shared society, a shared future, is knowing the other side narrative. We cannot oppress it. We should not silence it. It will cause no good to wall between us and the others. It's only will keep us in the cycle of ignorance, fear, and hate. We must start looking to each other in the eye. And tourism is an amazing tool to achieve that.
Yeah, the Fauzi Azar Inn and the Jesus Trail have been praised for their role in promoting coexistence. What challenges did you face in establishing these projects, particularly in terms of Israeli Palestinian relations?
Yes, so first it was 20 years ago, so I nearly forgot how difficult it was at the beginning. And my wife and I, Shlomit, we opened the first guest house ever, the Fauzi Azar Inn. It was the first guest house ever in the old city of Nazareth. Nazareth is the largest Palestinian city within Israel, and it's very important in the Palestinian narrative, the Palestinian culture and heritage. So the first thing that the residents of Nazareth thought when I start looking for a property to open the guest house was that I'm a settler, that I'm coming to Judaize Nazareth, that I'm coming to steal, to buy, to exploit their heritage, their culture, and their way of life. So that was the first thing, that doubt in my motivation. And the old city of Nazareth was a dying city in 2005. There were no hostel, no hotels, no family stay, no galleries, no coffee shop. It was a ghost town, literally ghost town, known mostly for drug dealers, crime, and violence. But it's a beautiful, beautiful old city, amazing architecture from the Ottoman time, the combination of Christian city and heritage in a Muslim majority city within a Jewish state. It make it a unique worldwide in the combination and the cosmopolitan atmosphere of the town. And many people thought I'm a Mossad agent, I'm an intelligent agent, I'm Shin Bet. and many other things that more criminal that I won't mention here in your show. Um, and we knew no one in Nazareth. So in order to answer those suspicions and rumors that were publicly we were publicly facing, we've decided we are not going to lock the guest house. We're going to keep the door open. The door of the guest house was open 24/7. So this is exactly how we proved we are not just that we are walking the talk. We are not just about great vision and PowerPoint presentation and concepts, but we're actually working very, very hard on the ground to make it into a reality.
And I wanted to take us back to a point that I think is very interesting. I believe before and maybe other interviews, you've stated that you forgive those who killed your parents, Hamas and the Israeli government, in the name of creating a future by forgiving the past and the present. You have also stated that you will not forget. So, what does this mean for you moving forward, and why was this forgiveness an important step for you?
So that's really that's a philosophical question that I never thought or believed I will need to deal with it, because no one can imagine that both his parents will be murdered. It's not in our imagination. And when it happened, I was broken. Okay, I was literally broken and devastated. But then I think few months after, I was listening to a Hamza Awad, a Palestinian maker who said that he's willing to forgive about the past, he's willing to forgive about the present, but he won't and cannot forgive about the future, not to himself and to no one else. And I was seeking revenge in the Israeli government. I saw the Israeli government accountable as the state, accountable for the security and safety of my parents and my friends. And the Israeli government is the government that promised us so many times that we are secure and safe. It was the current Minister of Treasure who said that Hamas is a strategic asset to the state of Israel. It was our current Prime Minister who stated in May 21 that Israel demolished all Hamas tunnels. And it was the former Israeli defense minister that promised my parents that the wall that was built 200 meters from their home, the most invested wall humankind ever built, most invested. He promised them it will bring them security. And they all lied. They all failed. So I was seeking revenge. I want to punish them. And those feelings destroyed me from the inside. I was basically a slave to those who harmed me, and I was living the destiny they forced upon me. And after listening to Hamze, I learned, I knew that the way for freedom, a way for happiness, a way to go back to normal creative life is forgiveness. Because I forgive for myself. I don't forgive because I'm respecting an answer or anything from the others or response from the other side, those who harmed me, Hamas and the Israeli government. It's not about them. Forgiveness it's about myself, about purifying my soul from anger and from seeking revenge. And from that moment on, I became a free man again, and I was able to resource all my energy, all my knowledge into building a better future, envisioning and shaping a better future for both Palestinian and Israelis. Because no one, no, no one, no one people will have freedom unless the other one will enjoy the same freedom. If we want to have security, the other must have security too. So this is exactly what I'm doing now. I quit all my tourism businesses. I retired from tourism, and I'm a full-time peacemaker.
Yeah, and speaking about your peacemaking, last year you and Palestinian peace activist Aziz Abu Sara spoke at a TED event in Canada. And a month later, you met Pope Francis at the Arena for Peace event in Verona, Italy. So, can you just describe what this experience was like?
So first, I'm late for a meeting with Aziz. So we're speaking once a day at least. So that's my next meeting. Um, so Aziz reached out to me. Aziz lost his brother on the first Intifada. His brother was 19 and Aziz was 10 years old. And he's also a tourism entrepreneur. And our companies, Mejdi and Abraham Tours, partnered in few projects, but we personally weren't involved. And few days after October 7th, he's reaching out to me and sending his condolences, and that he's standing with me and with my family in our hardest time. And I was very touched and encouraged that Palestinian and definitely non-Palestinian can also express their empathy, their support in me. So I realized it's not about Israelis and Palestinians. It's about those who believe in equality, those who believe in freedom, those who believe in reconciliation, and those who don't yet. So few days after we have our first Zoom meeting and then a webinar together, and then we were invited to open the TED convention in Vancouver. It was exactly maybe a year ago, the first or second week of April, and we opened very successfully the TED convention, and it was the third most popular talk in 2024. And just a month after, we were invited to Arena de Pace in Verona for a huge peace gathering of over 13,000 peace builders from all over the world that gathered together. And we were endorsed and hugged by Pope Francis, who supported and acknowledged and praised our effort to use our pain, sorrow, and agony to channel them into a dialogue, into a shared future, and into a shared vision. And it was a transformative experience, because it was just amazing to see how the way we dialogue with each other, how it influenced so many people in such a short time. And if before journalists and media, before our talk with Pope Francis, they ask us, is peace possible? And then afterward, they say, we are with you, we'll support you, peace is possible.
Well, that's all I have for you today, Maoz. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Thank you for sharing your personal story. It is very admirable. It's very inspiring.
Maya, if I can add, just if you have 2 more minutes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So as entrepreneurs, both Aziz and I were using the five-step methods in order to make dreams into reality. And this is exactly what we are doing now. We dream about peace. We have shared values, equality, dignity, shared acknowledgement and recognition, security and safety, reconciliation and healing. We are building a coalition. No one can fulfill big dreams on his own. So we are building a very powerful and strong coalition. We have a plan how to make peace, and we already executing the plan. And the highlight of our last year efforts is going to be in Jerusalem in May 8th and 9th, exactly a month from today, where the peace camp, Israeli-Palestinian peace camp, is going to gather in the biggest peace rally that was held in the Middle East for decades. And basically, we want to prove that there is a partner for peace, that there are many people that supporting peace, that the camp is diverse, the camp is powerful, the camp is loud, and we are brave enough to work with anyone who believe that the only way to achieve security and safety is through dialogue, through negotiation, diplomacy, and conflict resolution. So you are welcome to follow the People Peace Summit. We're going to screen it. We're going to screen it live in many places, and there's going to be a link for the live streaming. There's going to be live streaming, and you are welcome to follow it.
All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. The link will be on YouTube or social media or what?
Yeah, I will share it with. I promise you will get it for me.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for those words of encouragement. I think a lot of us, want to hear that there is a pathway to peace, especially in a situation like this. So thank you again for joining us.
And
Um,
so I will add one last thing.
Go
I
ahead.
live I live in the reality
Mhm.
you see in the news,
Mhm.
and I know how hopeless and how dark, how devastating it is.
Mhm.
I know I live within it. I feel it. I cry
Mhm.
because of it. But we are not giving up. We are where its situation seems hopeless. We are creating hope by envisioning, by together, Palestinian and Israelis, we envision a better future, and we act together to make this vision into reality. And please amplify our voices, join us, support us, dialogue with us, and we are determined, and we know that all conflicts end in the end. So will the Israeli Palestinians, and it's about us. We need to coalesce together, and for once and for all, end the bloodshed and create a lasting peace.